Hello, I'm back on my channel for like the millionth time, MIA, but I want to do a podcast style video today, so let's just sit down, chill, talk about life, one of my favorite topics, do housework, clean, whatever you want to do, drive, walk. Spring is here, yay, and March just ended, which I turned 25 in March, and on my birthday, just for my personal reflection, I wrote down 25 concepts that have impacted me throughout my life, and it's just been placed on like my mind, my heart, I don't know, to share it. I really have taken such a step back from the online world. It's been a while, it's been a slow process, but it has really transformed me in ways I really can say I love my life right now. Our phone addiction suck, all these different things play a factor into that. The online world, it can be a tool for such evil, it can be that extreme, or it can be a tool for such huge levels of blessings, and then all the in between. So I don't want to just completely close off entirely, just guard my heart. My son just left. I used to hate my life, like completely hate my life. I have talked about that. And I started even sharing online to talk about uncomfortable conversations, which leads me into my first one. Not everyone has to care about what you feel passionate about. And that is me directly talking to myself, because there are several things over my lifetime. I know I'm young, but there's several things that I can just feel lit up about and just feel super passionate about. And it's just like, why is not every single person angry about this or upset about this? I do always say that I'm not an angry person. It does take a lot for me to get angry, but there have been moments of the world in the past that like I have just been like, how is everyone not so infuriated by this? But I have realized that everyone just needs to be passionate about something or multiple things, but there are so many injustices in the world and so many things that not everyone can have the level of care or ability, and everyone's life has been so complex and different that not everyone's gonna care about the same thing. And I had to come to the reality that that's okay. And things today that get me worked up, years ago they wouldn't have, and I'd be like, how is this not making everyone infuriated? But the reality is, not everyone even like is in the state of life to even know about something or to get them there. I don't know, like now I'm a wife, I'm a mom, just things are different, things change, and it's okay. It is okay that not everyone feels the same levels. This next one is directed completely to me and something I think I'm going to be learning for a while, sadly, but that is to let others talk and to learn to listen. I can listen in ways and empathize with people, and I do love to learn from people. So I guess as I'm speaking now, like thinking, I definitely do listen to people. I definitely do. And I do want to learn from people and help people and hear. But I talk a lot. And I told myself at the beginning of the year that I was going to stop talking so much because I talk a lot. But it is a part of me, and I have always said I love my mind, because my mind has been so dark before and made me just hate everything. But my mind I also really love because of the deep thinking, and I don't know, I just enjoy what I think about. And it's weird to say because I oftentimes feel like I could be placed in a room and absolutely no one cares what I'm talking about. And I've always felt very misunderstood or unheard or unseen. Like, I don't know, as a kid, I just feel like no one cared about what I cared about. I don't know. And through even this platform, back from a little mommy break, from this platform, I have found such community, and that's like all I ever wanted. And so over the years, I've taken so many breaks and lost a lot of that, but I still do have a small handful. I have small handful of girls that have been with me from like when I first started posting, which is crazy to me. And I really love those connections, and I really don't want to lose that. It is really cool that there are people that do hear me and that have the same exact thoughts as me, or even have different views as me, but also same views as me in different other ways. And I think that is so cool that I have built those relationships, and I definitely don't want to lose those. So anyway, with that our phones absolutely suck. Our phone addictions absolutely suck in particular. They are such an addiction as a drug, as alcohol, as sugar. Like our phones are such addictions to people that are 60 to people that are 3. It is so sad. It is a sad reality. And even if we think it's not an addiction, I truly believe it is, because every single person has one in their hand nowadays. Not every single, okay, I oftentimes I group everyone together. Not every single person, but so many people do. And it is like the back of our hand. And there's generations now that are being raised that they've always had a phone. And I wasn't raised where I always had a phone. I had a few years there where I didn't, but the majority of my life I did have a phone. And our phones really cut us off from the actual world that we do live in, and it is really devastating and really sad when you really get to the root of that, like beyond sad, beyond devastating. And people can just be surfing, and especially now with short form content. I absolutely do not like short form content. Especially now with that, it has taken adults' minds, oh my gosh, I could rant on this, has taken adults' minds to have zero attention span, just like a child if they sat in front of a TV on a kid's show all day long. That's what it's done to us adults and children whose brains aren't even developed. And when I say kids, I could even mean teenagers, but now it even has gotten to a level where it is kids. And that's scary to me. It really is scary to me. But our phone addictions is so deep in our world. And I think it is known, but I also think it's unseen because it's seen so much. Does that make sense? But I have really learned to, over a year now, really have been getting off that phone and getting outside, and there's been ebbs and flows, but for the majority of over a year, I have done so unbelievably well with not wanting my phone and not being by my phone, and it has been so amazing on my life. Nothing is best all or nothing in regards to how you want to live your life, how you see your life and your future. So, for example, I am really inspired by just natural living, just getting back to our natural beings. I don't know. I'm really inspired by the Amish. Yeah, I just am. I've never said that publicly. I told my parents and my grandma a little bit ago, but anyway, I am very inspired by the Amish. It's hard to say. I could pinpoint it back to October of 2021, but I also really see it naturally building from when I got pregnant with my first son. So 3.5 years ago, it just was very natural, which leads me to my next thing is just to move slowly with your passions. And that goes kind of hand in hand. I don't know. I feel like it does. Not having to be all or nothing and just to go slowly with your passions. I see this future, Grant and I are so inspired by having a pantry of all your canned goods and having 85% of what you eat or 80% or 90% of what you eat from what you grew or what you raised. And that's just so inspiring. And that can seem like a lot to chew off, but it doesn't scare me. And it doesn't feel like that needs to be me right now. It's just small moves. It's hard to see, people could be like, you can't do that in today's society. You can. Yes, you can. Saying you can't live this way in today's society is just a lie. Literally, look at the Amish or look at different families. You definitely can. It's just a lot of unlearning and just moving slower with your passions. So I'll kind of conquer one thing or I'll have multiple things I'm really interested in, learning. And then I kind of conquer that in a way or just get better at it. And then my next thing kind of pops up. And it's just I look back and it's wow, I really have changed so much since then. And that's really happy to me. And I can see my future being so much different than I live now. And that makes me so excited. Being passionate and learning without action is still progress. Okay, so what I mean by that is in pursuing the future life that you want to have. I have many girls that I chat with that are kind of on the same track as me, and it can be hard because maybe they're not a wife yet. Maybe they don't have kids yet. Maybe they don't live out in the country yet. But those are the things maybe that their heart is longing for, and they're just not quite there yet. And that's okay. The passion behind it, the heart behind it, the learning behind it, that is something that is progress. So again, being passionate and learning without action is still progress. Maybe you're learning about cows. For my instance, Grant and I really, really, really want cows. It's just not the availability of our monetary value right now, or just we don't have a barn and stuff like that. We can get there, but just not right now. But we love to learn about it and make progress that way. So the passion and the learning is there, but the action isn't. I still find that such value and progress and awesome. So if you want to be something, you can just learn about it now, and that's beautiful, and it's not putting you any behind or anything like that. The majority of people are good in this world. I really do believe that, and I can get on tangents of the evil in this world, and because there is the evil spirits in this world are here, but there is such goodness and good people in this world. The goodness does outweigh the evil. This is a saying I've shared multiple times. I absolutely love it. If you want to change the world, go home and love your family. I believe that wholeheartedly. Oh my gosh, wholeheartedly. And then another good quote that kind of goes hand in hand with that. It's a quote my husband has said is, how does he say that? You can't prepare the road, but you can prepare your child for the road, or something like that. And I just love that because it's true. I don't know. I just find it to be true. So there's some quotes. Mother and wife roles are so important, the most important. Doctors' roles are very important, but I am putting mothers up there with doctors. I definitely am in my head. Raising a child is the next generation. It is their mental, emotional stability. It is so much. And mothers, I really think, should be in the homes with their kids. That could be controversial, or sometimes it can work better in a different way for a different family. But I really think mothers should be there, the ones being there with their kids. Mothers have a different part of their brain and their body, and then husbands have a different part and brain of their body. I think that's the way they were made. It's just what I believe. Kind of in relation to that is that you can live a beautiful and fruitful and experienced life on a poor budget, on a low income. It is so possible. Trust me, it is so possible. It can be so, vacations or giving your kids experiences. Experiences can cost a lot. Thousands, it can cost a lot. Going on a vacation with your family can be a lot of money, but experiences can also be free and great experiences. Sometimes I can even still, I would say, or maybe it was 6 months ago or something, I don't know. I could feel in the back of my head sometimes creep up maybe I'm not giving my kids the best upbringing because we're not going on vacations, or because we're not going to the swimming pool every day, or because we're not doing XYZ for our children. And maybe they need that or something. But I just don't think our kids need to see the world. I think it is a beautiful thing, and if a child is raised that way, they're going to learn so many life lessons from that. But I also think children will learn life lessons through being at their home, being outside in their yard, and seeing the world that way. If you are in the home, if the mother's in the home not making money in today's world, where it used to be that way, but the taxes were different things made that easier, and in today's world can be harder to be in the home, but it is so possible, and you don't need all of these things, and your kids are gonna have a fruitful, well-loved, experienced life by staying home too. With that, it leads right into the next one, which is enjoy the everyday, the mundane. That word is being shared a lot. I feel like I'm hearing that a lot more than I ever have, but just the everyday life. Getting groceries, getting bananas, growing your food in your garden, getting your eggs, cleaning up the spill your kid made. Whatever it is, the sun setting, just enjoy that every day. We We need community. Each person in this world has a unique talent and gift or ability. And I mean like non-conventional gifts, like not like singing, all of that. But maybe someone has a monetary value that maybe they're able to buy groceries where another friend might not be able to. And then maybe someone's good at cooking and they're able to cook. Maybe someone has a big enough house to host, but maybe they have a lot of kids and they don't have time to clean. Well, maybe another friend's ability is to clean. We can use our brains in different ways to just get together and have community, because it is important. We all just need each other, and it's so easy finding excuses of why it can't work, why we can't get together. But maybe I'm breastfeeding, I can't leave my newborn. Well, bring your newborn. And we aren't a bad friend because we share our love differently or we have different abilities. That's just us being God's people and how He created us. We're all going to express things differently, but we need each other's differences. Breastfeeding is natural. So don't look at it any other way, but natural. Birth is natural. Aging is natural, and it's all beautiful. The wrinkles, boobs after breastfeeding, that natural aging and natural life progression, I find beautiful. The opposite of that, non-natural, and that's our world. Our world is full of so many toxins right now, like everywhere. The air we breathe, the water we drink, what's spilled into our rivers, all of it. Cancers are all over, and in young people, the foods we're eating, so toxic. I'm able to realize that, progress at the pace that works for me better without having a crippling anxiety holding me down and locking me down and feel like I can't do anything. So I hope for that for you. I know it's harder for everyone, is all different there with anxiety. You can have it all and still have sadness, and have deep sadness. A loved one of a husband, a fiance, or a boyfriend, or loving mom and dad. You could have such greatness in your life and still have sadness in your life. Only you can change your daily habits. That goes deep. That goes with the phone addiction. That goes with the food that we're putting in our body that's processed in chemicals. That goes with not going outside and seeing the sun and the light and helping our natural rhythm. Only you can change your daily habits, and that's powerful and that's beautiful. I have been severely depressed 2 different times, clinically depressed in my life, suicidal ideations, wanting to end my life, and I really feel like I will never feel that again in my life. I really think that you're not alone. You may feel like you're alone, but there's so many more. And now that mental health is talked about more than it was years past, which is amazing. It is such an amazing thing. I used to think I was alone, but now that I'm thinking about this in my head, that's been over 10 years ago. Maybe today people know they're not alone, and maybe that's a whole different mind track to have in your head. But I just want people to know that you can have it all and still be sad, or you can have it all and be so blessed and live the best version of you. You can have nothing and be so broken and sad, or you can live with nothing monetarily and have the best you. Something that feels like a big deal to someone, it is a big deal. Even toddlers. There's going to be people that have it worse than you. But if it's making you sad, if it's disrupting your sleep, if it's disrupting your life and your day, it's valuable, and it should be talked about. In my personal life, I've found just speaking it out has been life-changing and has taken away the depression, that hold that it had on my life. Literally sharing it took it away. I went to therapy, and that did nothing for me personally. It could definitely help someone, and I haven't searched out different therapists. She wasn't a great fit for me. I know that. And I think therapy is great. I think talking it out is great at all in general. And that just goes for toddlers. They don't have the full ability to understand things like we do. I just heard last night, I think she was a therapist actually. She was saying, it was on a Sean Johnson podcast. She was saying that toddlers see in black and white, whereas adults see in gray. They just can't express the full emotion from us. If they're having anxiety, they can't pinpoint that quite. Heck, many adults I know can't even pinpoint that quite. It's okay. They might lash out in an angry scenario, or just like crying over something that doesn't normally make sense for them to just get so heightened emotions from. But that means something. That's them trying to communicate with us to the best that they can. It means something to them, so don't downplay it. Just like us adults, if something might seem silly to some person, it means something to them, and it should be heard and figured out, and we can't neglect our children and our toddlers of that emotional understanding. It's just best to figure out things in the moment than let them go unresolved and have it bottle up, build up, and maybe even build up for years or their whole lifetime from toddlerhood to adulthood, and then it can just multiply into so many different things. Don't feel stuck. When I say that, it could go to a deep, complex level, but honestly, the way I know I meant it when I wrote it out here was actually in home decor and home design. I've always loved home since 3rd grade is the earliest I can remember. And I get that from my grandma. In our last house, it was the first house that we had owned, and it was the first time experimenting with a style. And it was a very monochromatic, more simple and sleek design. And different homes are going to take on a different personality, especially if you want to honor that home. I've always loved European design and all these different kinds of designs. But when I was at my last house, that just wasn't my style for 6+ months of me living there. And I didn't know how to, I didn't want to just throw away furniture we had spent money on. A friend of mine that is so amazingly sweet, she's actually an interior designer now, and she had mentioned to me about thrifting and opened up a whole new world to me, in which I used to be so good at flipping items that my parents would have just downstairs in their basement. When I didn't work, I lived at home, and I wanted to make my bedroom feel homey and cozy, and I would do that all the time. That was natural to me, but I forgot about it. And when she mentioned it was just so amazing, because she's like, pick up a piece of furniture that you see for $15, and if you don't like it anymore, you can give it away and give it to someone else when your style changes. So it's not like you're losing a whole bunch. So just don't feel stuck. Slowly implement that new style that you want to incorporate into your house. Slowly implement those colors here and there, and over time you'll get there, and your style will get there. A clean house helps the mental health so much. Breaks and rest is needed for creativity and for passions.
Hear the big truck?
Passions will change. That's good. I see so much goodness in that. You need breaks and rest all the time to be able to mother the best way. And with talking about your passions changing, the next one is it's okay to change personas at any age. I have seen myself change so many different ways throughout my short life. I'm 25, that is young, and I'm sure I'm going to change in so many different ways to come, and I want that. I want my kids to change. I want all of that, but you always do still have your underlying you, and I always have kept on to that, so it's not like I'm literally changing me every new era, but it is okay to change that persona, and I think many people in today's age do a great job at that. There's a YouTube channel that I have found about a month ago now, and I love them. It is Off Grid with Doug and Stacy, okay? They are off grid. They are 100% on rainwater. They grow 90% of what they eat. They are so inspiring, and they've been at this for, I want to say 8 years or something, or maybe it's 13 actually. Sorry, that's a big jump. I think it's 13. But regardless, before that, they were living the most normal American lifestyle, motorcycling across the country, eating all the processed food, doing all of that, and they detox their bodies and cleanse themselves and completely changed, moved off grid in the small little cabin. And it's just so inspiring. And lastly, it is just on life itself, and that our life is, we don't know when it's ending. I don't really think of health anxiety or losing loved ones or death. I've never put too much thought into it. I just kind of live life. But I am really thankful for each day, and I have been, because of my past with suicidal ideation and just hating my life. I've been grateful for my life for years and years and years now, and I've always put a huge importance on that, on the gratitude of that. At this point, when I wrote this on my birthday, there had been a few things happening. Young people dying of cancer, just last minute findings. And it just makes me think of everything I shared here and more. It makes me think a lot. We're not given tomorrow. We're not given the next hour. And neither are our kids, to be honest with you. At any age, we're not given. So make that moment count. Raise your children up to know you and your goodness and what you bring to them. If you did leave this world, let them know that their mother loves them endlessly. So anyway, that ends my wrap up on my 25, life lessons or just concepts. I hope that this was interesting. You're about to see a clip of my son Jed getting the camera, and it's really sweet. So stick around to hear that at the end. You're welcome.
No. 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 No.